GoPro Silver 7. I saw this on eBay for spares or repair, and it was on a buy it now for £8.99. And I think there was £1.99 postage. I'll just bring the listing up so you can have a look. And the seller said a small child had wedged the SD card in the wrong way round. So I wasn't actually expecting this to work, but I've charged it up. Let's see if it'll come on there. And there we go. So it actually works apart from the SD card's jammed in. So I thought it might be a useful addition to the rest of my camera setup, just for, you know, recording things outside or whatever. So right, so let's zoom down a bit and we'll have a look. So that's the SD card there, and he said he'd tried using some tweezers to get, or try and remove the SD card, but without success. So it looks like somebody has had a bit of a go around there with it. Well, I'm just going to try a screwdriver just on the edge of the SD card just to see if we get any movement on it. I mean, it is moving a little bit. Now, I don't know whether we need to push this back in and then try it, or whether it's already been pushed back in and clicked again, because I know there's like a locking mechanism for the SD cards. Let's see if I can find another screwdriver here. I'll just see if I can use two screwdrivers, one either side maybe. I mean, this might need taking apart and a new SD card slot fitted. I'm not sure as yet. Let's see if I've got another screwdriver I can use. Maybe a smaller. Let's try this one. It's actually coming. Well, I managed to get the SD card out. And it's an Amazon's Basic 128 gig. I wonder if there's anything actually on this. I might have a look on the computer. Now, I don't know if there's any damage to this slot. What I'll have to do is get another SD card, because I don't want to try putting that one back in, and I'll just I'll just see if it works when I put a different SD card in. So one moment please, and resume. Right, so it says inserted with the label facing the USB port. Yeah, I think that slot definitely doesn't feel right. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it just wants to click in as well. Let's see what happens if we switch it on. Yeah, it says no SD. So, might not just be a simple fix, just as removing the SD card. This might need a new SD slot. Right, so I'll switch it off. I think I'm going to have a quick look just to see if I can figure out how this comes apart first, and then we'll have a go. So I had a look on the internet just to see how these come apart, and apparently you've got to get a little pry tool underneath this. It's held on with some adhesive. Let's try and get another one of these plectrum spudger things on the side. And switch the thing on there. Right, so that's that bit off. I'll switch it on again. Right, so I'll just zoom down a fraction. So we've got some screws around the outside here. but one of them is underneath this glass part here. Now I did see somebody Dremel away part of the glass on here to actually get to that screw, which I thought, it doesn't seem quite right. But you're supposed to be able to release this part of the glass. It actually comes off from the aluminium here by putting something under here and levering up. So I'm just going to try and get a small flat blade screwdriver. I'll try a slightly bigger one. Well, that's that side off. Let's just try. Right, there we go. So it looks like this. Right, I see how it works now. So the guy who levered it up was actually wrong. What looks like supposed to happen is you've got this seal around the outside. This glass piece on the front is adhered to this plastic bit and then screws behind it. So it looks like the correct way to take this off is to remove the glass from the plastic first and then undo these 4 screws. Right, okay. At least we didn't damage the glass, but it's not going to be watertight. Not that I'm particularly going to be using it underwater or anything, but that's if you can actually use these underwater. Right, let's see if I can find a small screwdriver and we'll remove these screws on the outside. So it looks like these are a Torx T3. I'm just going to put these to one side. Let's see if we can get this case off now. Seems to be jamming a bit, this. Just going to see if I can get that back into position. Right, so that's the battery connector down there. And it looks like there's some connectors go to the screen. So I wonder whether it's worth removing those. And then we can separate the bottom. Well, that one's a T3, I'm not sure if that one's a slightly bigger one. Let's try a T4. Yeah, that my T3's rounded off. So we've got this one out. But this one doesn't want to seem to come out. Looks like maybe this T3 driver end is rounded off slightly. I don't know if I've got another one. Unfortunately, that's the only T3 bit that I've got. Just going to see if I can get a flat blade across it. I might be able to do that one. We'll try it. Right, let's see if I can figure out some way of getting that screw out. Right, I've used a pair of wire cutters just to grab the screw, just to slacken it off a bit, and it looks like that's enough to get it out. That's the battery disconnected. Right, So it looks like you can just remove the battery by taking this silver strip off and then maybe putting a bit of IP or something on just to loosen any adhesive. It looks like the battery will just come out of here. A little circuit board down there, that's possibly the GPS or Wi-Fi. Right, let's have a look at this other part. This looks like a bit of tape. It's very compact in here. So this is the SD reader module here. I'm just seeing how it actually comes out. Let's see, we've got a screw here and another screw there. I don't know how you're supposed to access that screw because you've got this metal piece in the way. And that looks melted. Yeah, this part looks melted onto that. So it looks like you might have to buy a whole... Looks like you might have to buy a whole replacement unit here. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this part off. Maybe you get a screwdriver down there. Well, I guess that's how it's attached to the board. I mean, even getting a screwdriver in onto that, it's going to be a bit of an issue. The only thing I can think is this SD card reader is put on or melted in place after it's screwed together. That's the only thing that really makes sense. I'll try and do that screw. So this bit's just like a bit foam. I think I'm making a little bit of progress with it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty chewed up in there, I would say. At least we can get access to these parts now. So that's attached to here. I don't know what their tin pads are for. Well, it took a bit getting out. Right, I might get this part under the microscope and we'll see if it'll come apart. But it looks like it's all soldered together. Right, so let's put this part to one side. I'll go and get the microscope and we'll bring the microscope in and we'll have a look. One moment please. Right, so I've got the SD reader underneath the microscope now. I've just got it secured up with a piece of blue tack. I'm just going to see if I can remove this top shield just so we can have a look. I don't think we're going to be able to fix this. I think I'm going to have to see if I can buy a replacement or a second hand one or something. I'm just going to try and put a bit of flux on this. actually looks broke away, I think, at the front there already. Right, see if we can get the other side up. I wonder if it would be better with some low melt solder. Try putting some low melt solder on. Right. Now we can see the problem. Let's see if we can get that in focus a little bit better. So this is why it wasn't reading the SD card. We can see all these pins here. I think these should be straight, pretty much like this one. I mean, we could try and straighten them out, but then it's putting it back together to test it, and yeah, there's a pin here that's quite broke off the board by the look of it. Yeah, it's a pretty mess in here, isn't it? There's actually a pin missing here as well. There should be a pin here. That one's completely missing. That's more like what the pins should look like. Like these first two here. But yeah, it's well broken, this, isn't it? Right, well, at least we know what the problem is now. So I'll have to see if I can get a hold of one of these. Right, I shall see if I can order some parts and then I'll be back. So I managed to obtain a new SD reader module from AliExpress. Now this one's for a GoPro white, I think it is, and obviously this one's a GoPro silver, but the only difference between the two modules is pretty much the colour, so I'm not really too bothered about that as long as it works. I did remove the broken SD reader, and I did try and see if I could find just the replacement card slot to attach on here, but unfortunately, I'll just zoom down a bit, one of the pads was already ripped off on this. It just looks like a ground, but I thought, well, I'm not going to mess about trying to get an SD card slot, plus I couldn't find one with the same pin out, and then even so it would be quite difficult to solder it off. You probably have to heat it from underneath because of the way it actually solders onto the board, because you can't solder through these little holes here, so you probably have to heat this up from underneath. And I think that's pretty much what I did to actually remove it. So, but anyway, let's put this to one side. So this is the new module here. I'll zoom out a fraction. So let's see if we can get this on and see if it works. Let's check that's plugged in properly. And it looks quite awkward to put this on. I think that's it clicked into place there now. I'll try and get this piece behind there. There we go. Right, so I had these two long silver screws. need a smaller screwdriver. Right, so how does this part go in? I need the smaller Torx one for this screw. Right, happy with that. Let's see if I can get these connectors back in now. That's not the easiest thing to do. That's one in. Right, so that's those three in. And the next one was the battery connector. Right, so now we've got these two little threaded screws. Let's try and get one of those in place. Yeah, this is the one that was a bit rounded off. I'll just zoom out the fraction there. Right, it doesn't seem to want to go together now though. But I remember it was a bit of a struggle to get it apart. Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing to work on this. We're getting there slowly. I've just noticed this pin is supposed to be in there and it's fallen out. I wonder if I can just get that in there like that. So what I'm going to do, I think I'll just put these two screws in for now. I'll go get an SD card and we'll give it a try first before we finish reassembling it. Right, I shall go get an SD card. Right, so I've just popped an SD card in. What's it saying here? Update the date and time. Set manually. Yeah, whatever. Huh, looks like it's worked. Because now we've got a time there for recording, so 2 hours and 8 minutes. Right, I'll get the rest of this back together and then we'll give it a test. I'll just switch it off for now. No, is that the on off? Yeah, right. Get the rest of these screws in. I'm going to have to figure a way of securing this lens part back onto here, because obviously I broke it when disassembling it. I'm sure I'll think of something. Ironically, the price of the part was actually more than what I paid for the camera. I think it was around £15 for the new SD reader, and it was £10 for the camera, so a total of £25 spent up till now. I'll just zoom out a fraction and I'll see if I can figure out some method of, I'm going to clean this lens first and then figure out some method of attaching this part back onto here. Right, so this little plastic bit actually only goes on one way, because we've got a little notch bit here and a little hole at the top here. So the notch bit goes to the bottom and the little hole is for that pin there. I've just give the lens a quick rub over just to clean it up. So what I'm thinking about doing is just using a bit hot snot. And probably not the best, but it should hold it. Like I say, it's not probably going to be waterproof, but that's not really an issue. Just waiting for my... There's a lid up there, isn't it? Yeah. Just waiting for this to heat up. It's not quite hot yet. Right, we'll just try that again now. Right, we'll just do the same on the other side, I think. Or attempt to. I'll try down here. I think something like that. I say it's just to secure it. Hopefully this front part just clips back on. Right, let's take it outside and we'll see what it looks like. I'll try recording something and then we'll wrap up the video. So I've just been outside and recorded some of our beautiful scenery around here. So I'll put that on big screen. So hopefully you enjoy. And what a beautiful day it is today. I just thought I'd come out onto our top field here. We've got the horses there all sunbathing, flat out on the grass. You may be able to see some of the newborn lambs that we've got here. I see we were quite busy lamb in the last couple of weeks, so yeah, so this is the GoPro and it all seems to be fully working. Right then, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.